I'm 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant, and my child's father, all within a day of finding out that I was pregnant, that I may have an ectopic pregnancy, going to the emergency rooms, spending hours and hours and hours getting poked and prodded to find out that my baby's okay and in my uterus where they should be, and my hormone levels are where they should be. So, and within a day of finding all that out, the father of my child said he doesn't want this. He doesn't think this is a good idea, and he wants me to not keep the baby. Let me be very clear that my child's father was very aware of what was going on. This wasn't like nobody was trapped. He repeated over and over and over again how bad he wanted us to have a baby, how bad he wanted me to have a baby, how bad he wanted me to get pregnant. And then I get pregnant and he's like, no. And today he told me, well, listen, you have to get rid of the baby because I'm married. When we got together, thought we were getting divorced. I had requested a divorce. Things was done, I thought, but that didn't happen. And now I'm trying to work my marriage out. So you cannot have my baby. So now here we are. And I'm trying to keep my stress levels down because one of the reasons they thought it was or wanted to rule out it being ectopic pregnancy was because I was bleeding and still having a little bleeding issues. I'm trying to stay calm, keep the stress down so I don't harm my baby, but I'm just struggling because I'm trying to figure out why I needed this. Why I needed to be trying to ask God, like, why I needed to be bent and broken and snapped in this way. I was minding my business, y'all. That man was persistent to even get a chance with me. And we were damn near living together. And then to say, and now my poor baby. Poor baby. I don't want this life for my baby. And you know what? I'm 41. I don't have any children. This is my first child. I didn't ever even think I wanted any. So I certainly wasn't trying to but now it's here. Just married the whole time. Intentionally got me pregnant. And once I got pregnant, told me I don't want nothing to do with this.
Bro, can I say something as a married man?
Yeah.
Yo, people go through stuff in their marriage, right? Marriages have ups and downs. You're not always in love. It's not always walking through the fucking rose petals, right? And women do it too, just as well as men, where they entertain other people sometimes or whatever. The marriage is on the ropes, right?
100%.
People, it could be sex. It could be he's not romantic. He's not making enough money. And she's
Any
at work.
any small thing, yo,
Yeah.
that turns into like a sort of like a big thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and then you bring somebody into it.
Yeah.
The problem is, at 41, I'm not gonna put all this on whoever the dude is. At 41, you should know better. And let me explain what I mean. Like, you don't mess with no married person. You was obviously a rebound. He told you he was married and he was getting a divorce. You should say, holla at me then. Because you're single, you don't have any kids, you got way more options than a married dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
I
saying.
hear you.
It sounds good because, like, married people, they go through stuff and they feel neglected in these marriages, so they start leaning different ways.
I hear
That's
you.
why a lot of guys be cheating and a lot of women be cheating. Oh, he ain't this, he ain't that. I'm not attracted to him no more. And it might be the guy at work, somebody that's real persistent or whatever. But the difference is when it's the woman and she put her guard down, and she gets fully involved with the person, you know what I'm saying? And say, you know what, I'm a go with the situation. You're married, but you know, bro, we know better that people not even married go through ups and downs and they get back together and drag outsiders into it and break their hearts.
I hear
I
you,
think you
yo.
should know better.
Like, and I feel like in that whole scenario, um, that it's 50-50, bro. Like she knew what it was, he knew what it was. But at the same time, like, you know, and I don't really want to, like, I can't really speak for no women, but only thing I can speak for is like my relationships with women throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a lot of times a woman may say one thing and she may mean it. Like, I don't want to deal with that. And me as a man, I'm just very, like, she said it though, like, me as a man and me pursuing this woman, I'm very persistent. I'm saying the right things. I'm saying what she wants to hear. And eventually, like, especially if a woman is lonely, bro. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, uh, she's any less responsible because maybe she was lonely, or maybe I said sweet things to her, or maybe I broke her guard down or whatever. Like, she's still responsible, but you know, as a man, you know the game we play sometime, man. And it's like, you know, eventually if you persistent enough and you doing the right things, a woman, like, we know we play the game. Like, yo, you know how that go, bro. If you are persistent enough and you actively trying and ain't nobody else showing her that attention, yeah, you could be married. Or you could have two girlfriends. Or if that woman lonely and you talking to her and spending time with her and doing shit with her, eventually we wears them down,
You
and
know,
we, you know what I'm saying?
until this, and
Felt
more
kind of
Chris,
bad for her, actually.
I actually do. That's why I led with what I led with, like, you know, like married people pulling outsiders into their shit and dismantling them and spitting them back out like their feelings don't matter. All I'm saying is we seen this movie before. We read this story. We know how it ends. And a
100%.
lot of times people in their marriages and relationships go through things, right? And it sometimes they figure it out. You know, in this case and hers, he moved in, like he said, they was practically living together.
Like,
But he was running game though.
yeah, I was about to say, like,
He was using, and in some cases, you know how women are. He was using Shorty to get back at his wife.
100%. But it's like, yo, you like, he had the chicken extra crispy, bro. Like,
Yes, he
yo,
did.
if
Yeah.
you already doing that, yo, you don't gotta be fucking on a woman asking her to have your kid. Like, bro, you
He
doing
didn't
like,
pull out.
yeah, bro, like, you like, and even in that, bro, like, I've been super toxic in my post prison, bro. Like, I was a wild boy. So
Mhm.
you might literally be mad, like, no, I said post prison, prior to prison.
Pre-prison.
Yeah, pre-prison. Let me clarify that. But yeah, because I, like, you know what I mean.
I
But
understand the implications there.
yeah, like, I don't need no, because
Yeah.
I've been a good man.
That's
But
right. Me too.
yo, I would be going through things with, you know, in relationships, right? And because I'm mad, I would be over there just doing extra shit, like, you know what I mean, like, saying, like, doing shit that I know. Like, I'm doing extra shit that I know, you know, at the time my woman would never find out, but I'm saying it anyway, like, just on some, like, I'm, you know, gassing this woman up, and I know I don't mean these things, but I'm just being extra toxic. Why? Because I'm mad at, and it's almost like what a woman to do, basically, right? Like, a woman will cheat on you and do some shit, and it's not hurting you because you never even fucking know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I myself have done shit like that. Like, I might be with a different girl and I'm doing extra shit. I'm just gassing the situation, knowing I don't want to be with her,
Mhm.
but I'm hurt by some shit my girl did to me. And so even though my girl will never know that I'm doing this or that I'm saying this, but it's like, the end result is like, yo, you actually, because you hurt by one person, now you over here, you fucking over another person.
And that's basically what happened to her.
100%.
And that's what happens all the time because people, like what we leaving out here, when you get into the dynamics of a relationship, the relationship you can walk away from, it's easier to walk away from a relationship than it is a marriage. I remember people saying that and all that stuff, and then you get married and you understand that because you go through stuff, right? And it's not, walking away from it is not always the option, but just like any human with feelings, emotions up and down, everything cross your mind, right?
100%.
That's just part of being human. And to your point, people do stuff like This is the extreme. I step outside of my marriage thing. People do stuff, gas other people up, knowing probably for a second they probably do want to be with them, but in the back of their mind, they just know they really want to fix this shit home
Yeah.
and be home. Every dude that cheat or some shit and you have the conversation, they really want to fix shit at home.
100%.
But
Most
I
cases,
can't
it's-
speak
yeah.
for women. I don't know what their shit a little different, but it's the same end result, right? Probably men will walk away from the shit more easier on their side versus a woman with her feelings involved, especially if she accepted the fact that, hey, this man has a wife. And now she know it's bullshit too, because we got two sides of our brain. She know to a certain degree it's bullshit too, but she want to believe it because the shit feel good.
100%.
You
But
understand what I'm saying?
I think a side of that we may never know is, well, without a doubt we would never know, right? Is that, yo, like it's not a lot of it's not a lot of men that it's a lot of men, right? But it's
Yeah.
not a lot of men that a lot of women want. We see the stats, right? We ain't gotta get into that.
Facts,
So it's
yeah.
like a lot of times, women understand that it's a bum deal, but women, they be lonely. So like they'll know, like, all right, what if this motherfucker probably is still really with his wife, or this motherfucker still probably is with his baby mother, but shit, I'm lonely. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that sometimes as men we feed on that. Like, you know, if you talking to a woman and she expresses that she hasn't been out on a date or nobody does this, or she just work and go home, and you're like, oh, word, like try and hang out, and it's like we feed on
You know what's
on that.
crazy about what you just said? the dude, the wife at home, probably that's all she probably want, right? For him to do that, and she would act right. But it's like we such in everybody's dug in, right? And so like he ain't gonna do it until she do this and vice versa, right? But he'll go do that with the chick. It's no different than hold on. It's no different than how a chick might play your wife or your girl play games with sex, but then get a new nigga the pussy.
Well, that's what
It's
I
the
was.
same thing, yo.
That's what I was
crazy.
getting at, bro. What I find is that like when you have time with a person, that's like your pride and your ego of being in place. So it's like, yo, I'm not dealing with that. Yo, she know how I am, or we done been through all this together with us, and it's like it's just easier for most of us to go out and do something with somebody new and get rid of the pride, the ego. I don't really know this person, so I can go and it's no the shit from 3 arguments ago. It's no this, you did this. It's like you're able to go and sort of start something new without anything. And it's
built on lies, but
yeah, but it's really a bum deal in my opinion.
It
Let me be
is.
clear, it's
It
really
is.
a bum deal for a woman, because like you said, like maybe it's a sexual thing, and now it is the guy that you love, and you maybe you feel like he playing or he doing this, so you restricting sex, right? But now you get in a space where it's like, well, all right, he ain't doing this, so I'm gonna step out, and it's like the very thing that you kept from your guy, you're now giving it to somebody else. And I've talked to a couple of women
for less.
Yeah, for less. I've talked to like a couple of women about that, right? And it's just like it was told to me, like, well, at least over there, I don't gotta think about it. I don't gotta worry about nothing. I ain't worrying about what he did to me. It's just nothing. It's just sex over there. And I'm like,
but the thing about that is like, see, and that's just comes to the programming of how we deal with affection and stuff. And a lot of our connection is through intimacy, right? And
100%.
disconnection as well, because
100%.
we could turn that shit on and off, right? It could be a nut or it could be love. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
But I think ultimately when people step outside of these situations, right? And I just say, let me just say this. I seen this lady on TikTok, right? I love TikTok. She was talking about how she been married for 37 years and they've been working it out. And she was talking about hugging her husband for more than 30 seconds and shit like that. That is like, damn, do I hug my wife more than 30 seconds? You know what I'm saying? But she was just talking about the things that they've been through and how it feels waking up and going to bed with the same person for 37 years. And it was in response to all the videos of wives talking about, yeah, I left them after 10 years. I finally did it. And then the comment section of everybody cheering everybody on, right? And all I hear is people who lost communication, right? And it's easy for somebody to say from the outside looking at somebody's shit and telling them what they should do, how they should, what's the name, until you're the person in the marriage,
100%.
into the relationship. And I think one of the things, and I check myself on, we lose sight on is communication. Well, we argued 1,000 times, but we friends. You my brother. It's like we'll forgive each other, water under the bridge. And sometimes in relationships, yo, we fucking like Santa Claus. We got a list. We want to know if you was naughty or nice. We checking it twice, and we hold that shit over out here. And whatever leverage we got in the situation, we use it. For men, it could be trying to sneak off for finances and stuff like that. And with women, ultimately, is sex.
Yeah, yo, it's like I say, yo, it's that pride and that ego, and it's like
Yes.
the person that's close to you should be able to put down your ego and let go of some of your foolish pride, because that's the person that's closest to you. But somehow that person closest to you, because I don't know if it's vulnerability, but somehow it's backwards. So the person that's closest to you is like, maybe it's because we so close, like you should know better. So I don't wanna, I'm not getting out this hill. I'm gonna have my ego and I'm gonna stand on my pride because you know me. We've been together 10 years and you know better. And it's you trying to play with me. And it's like that's not that shit shouldn't be.
That's how you feel.
Yeah. But it's like, yo, you won't forgive this person that you wake up with every day, but you forgive your boss at your job, or you forgive, a childhood friend that do some fuck shit. Like you'll forgive a person with a a a a relationship that's not that important, but this
Mm-hmm.
person that you like this with,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
And
It's tooth and nail.
but see, what you're touching on is the key to making a marriage work. But see, the only way this works, right? Somebody got to cave,
Yeah,
right? At the beginning, right? Well, when like we dug in, somebody cave and just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna stop the tit for tat now, and I'm gonna give you what
I'm
you
gonna tell you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you what you been asking for, whatever. I'm going to reconcile on my end, and that's how you teach the behavior. It sucks because you're eating shit because you might feel like you're right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But you got to
1,000
be the
times.
one and lead by example. But it works better when both parties are doing it. But the thing is, it got to start somewhere. Somebody got to introduce this into the relationship, because a lot of times, like, think about being in a relationship. Even when it comes to name calling, typically, as things spiral and spiral negatively, somebody introduces it into the relationship.
100%.
Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, like somebody, and then there we
Yeah,
go.
now,
That's
now
it.
we
Yeah,
now we what's the name?
yeah.
So we
Now
got
we
to make
down
the
to
new.
disrespect each other.
Yeah, now we got to bring the norm a different way. You see what I'm saying? And you got to remember though, like, yo, I think personally the key thing is forgiveness, and
100%.
sometimes it's not easy. And try not to put yourself in a situation where you gotta apologize, but you gotta introduce forgiveness and acquiescing to the other person. And it might suck because you might have been right the whole time. Now, if you can't get past that after a while and bring the other person to your side and y'all working things out, communication getting better. If you didn't put in the work, because the work look different, it's similar, but it's different for each person to a certain degree because that's their relationship.
100%.
But it all boils down to communication and really being able to talk to each other. Because a lot of times when you bring up something that's going on, y'all fine until you bring up something, and then now she want to bring up everything else, or vice versa. She bring up something that she got an issue with instead of you dealing with what she said. Now you want to talk about the fact that she ain't cooked or whatever.
Yeah,
You see what I'm
what
saying?
what it does turns into passing a buck. The issue now, because now I say this, then you say this, then now I say this.
We know where.
Then our last
We
10
looping.
issues that we've had, now everything back on the table. Yo, like, I don't know, in my current relationship, I feel like I've done more of that. Like I've done, because my woman, she's very stubborn, right? And what I'll
In general.
always, yeah, too.
I'm just
But this
saying.
one's super stubborn, right? So what I realized is, early on too, is like, yo, you know what? If my pride or me trying to fix something doesn't, like, cause like I'm not being, disrespected. It's not a threat on my life. It's not like these arguments aren't some fucking grandiose thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'll look at it and I'm like, yo, me mending this takes nothing away from who I am as a
Yeah.
man. And because I think like that, I'm able to look, let's work on this. That's most of our, maybe 7 out of 10 our, if we had 10 arguments throughout the relationship, 7 of them were mended by my hand first.
Yeah.
And it's like me looking at it like, all right, well, do you love this woman? You respect this woman. And if I'll be so stubborn that it won't be nothing. And it's like, all right, well, if I do that and then she do that, then we have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I'll always go to, is this a super big argument? And for me, in my household, most of the times it's not a really big argument. It's maybe a miscommunication, a series of small little things, because I'm a type of person, the way that I deal with life and the way that I see life, like minuscule things I don't get bent out of shape about, right? But to a woman, it could be a dish in the zinc or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm out this motherfucker trying to take over the world, man. Get the fuck out my face, right? So,
Right.
but to them, it's like, you left this, and it's like, bro, I don't care to
that's-
hear about.
That's the world they live in. It
Yes.
matters to them.
So, over time would have had to adapt my way of thinking to, like, yo, I don't have to agree with it, but I at least gotta try to understand why that silly shit is important to her. If I can understand it, then I can mend it.
And the silly shit looks different on every woman. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, but
But let me say this, right? If I'm so much in my way, like, I'm Walt, man, I ain't dealing with that shit. I'm this type of, then nothing I had to like put my ego.
but
Damn.
women have a version of that too.
100%.
I mean, niggas whistle at me. I mean, motherfucker, look at my ass. You know what I mean? I see
Yeah, 100
motherfuckers at the corner of the eye looking at me. I see, because think about how you will look at a woman respectfully, right? Outside the relationship, somebody that's attractive, right? Or whatever, right? That's your woman when she leave out. That's your woman when she at work. That's her when she posts a picture, depending on who your woman is, right? Depending on how she moves. That don't mean that even if she's not even paying no attention, don't matter. It still happens. That to her, that's she sees that. That goes to her value, because like it's no different than not seeing it or being a woman feeling like you don't exist. Because for men, when you get a certain age, we don't exist, because a lot of stuff that we got, we could do fitness, we could get vehicles, people looking at the car. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But we don't exist after a certain while. But women, for the most part, they always exist because we always looking at their face or their body, respectfully.
You
know what I mean? So they always going to have they got that version of them because it's somebody always looking at them. But they used to it. It ain't like us. Women look at us for what we can provide, what we have. If you're a handsome dude, whatever, cool, little muscles. But for the most part, even if you're that, they won't stare at you. Like, it's different for them. You know what I'm saying?
On both sides, though, right? If you value that outside shit, that's white noise.
Yeah, but it don't matter if they do or don't. In the same, all I'm saying in that sense is, but you're right. All I'm saying in that sense is, like, they have a version of that. Like when you say I'm Walt, I'm this.
Yeah.
When everybody get dug in,
It's
potential.
It's
You know what I mean?
protectionary. Like you say that, and your girl might be like, "Well, I am who I am too." Fuck you talking about, like.
Well, she won't say it because she don't. But she. Chest out.
I mean,
Anyway, I don't think I don't think that married people or people in relationships in general should drag innocent people into the middle of their situation. If you with somebody, man, be with them, or leave them before you bring anybody into your shit.
Thank you for saying that.
Up.
That's not reality.
That's fucked up.
You're right.
It's not,
that's not. But
it's not,
because
but we should say it.
Because I can't think of. I've been in quite a lot of relationships, bro. Like a lot, right? I was having girlfriends when I was like girlfriends that could stay over my house, like when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So, from 15 to basically 23, I was already many girlfriends, right?
Right.
And I can't tell you. I won't even get into numbers, right? Because that shit is crazy. But I can't even tell you. The amount of times that a girl has broken up with me for somebody else. Maybe twice.
There's always somebody.
Yeah, like it's because and again, right? I can't speak for no women, but I can speak from experiences with women. Basically, like, once a girl cares for you, I always tell women all the time, like, yo, do me a favor. Don't do me no favors, right? Like, a woman will. I don't care how strong you is and how thorough you are. Once a woman cares about you, I don't want to hurt them. You know how many times now? You know how many? You know how many girls
behind the scenes?
You know how many
that's crazy.
Girls that I've gotten to cheat on their boyfriends, and that's the first thing they say. I don't want to hurt them. This is wrong. Like, girl, if you don't take them clothes off, and it's like
that goes to the point. Go ahead. I'm
sorry. It's like, yo, no woman is gonna do that because they don't want to hurt us. They'll be just cheating, and maybe it'll happen and they'll break it off, but we'll never No,
I got a question. This is a
we'll
little
never
bit,
know.
but it's to you two what you just said. It's somebody out there that could crack everybody girl right now.
100,
They
100,
just ain't. It don't matter what your lady say. Look at you in your eyes. Is a handsome ass nigga right now somewhere. They just ain't
100,
crossed
yo,
paths.
100.
I don't care how much you love your wife. Y'all just
Nah,
had
bro,
the
100,
baby,
100, 100.
and she is. Wait, I'm telling you.
100%. Yo, I think that most of us, right, male and female, most of our like favorite experiences. Let's use that, right?
Yeah.
Most of our favorite experiences may have came from the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
So my girl, your wife, like most of their
Yeah.
favorite experiences may have come from the wrong person. Now they're with you.
Yeah.
Now she's with me, right? And we have something great, right?
That don't mean
But
somebody.
that don't mean right. So it's like they
busting her
like,
down.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so, like and that.
Somebody who made her what she is.
Yeah, like so it's like, it's you could be doing everything right and everything be going right, but like deep down, man, like we all have some sort of toxic behavior or some sort of person in our past that we know they're a shitty person, but god damn that person. And I feel like women have that.
And
That might have been
a lot of things that women see, like we all carry shit, but just in my experience with women, they bring a lot they carry a lot from all the relationships they've been in. They don't even realize it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Kind
tell
of
you.
like set the pieces on the board for them or how they move about everything.
I'm gonna tell you, not to cut you off. I'm gonna tell you, like, it's like you could you seen it on Casino, right? But with Rob De Niro, he had all the bread,
Mhm.
and Sharon Stone, he had everything, right?
Yeah.
And what I took from that, I'll make this make sense. What I took from that, like he had everything, he gave Sharon Stone everything, and the fucking pimp she used to deal with would always come. She would do shit for him, and she would always just run to the pimp. And Rob De Niro was confused, like, yo, you got everything over here.
Yeah.
Then finally he was like, yo, fine, go ahead. Now I've been in situations where like I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table, and I feel like for certain women, if you don't need them in a certain way, they feel unfulfilled. So a woman might go out and date under, and you like, yo, that don't make no sense. And it's like, this nigga's a bum.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes her feel needed in a way that you could never, because you ain't no fucking bum.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
If you look, if you check, depending on how old you are, right? We the same age, you older.
Yeah.
But like you meet new women, it's somebody in their past who they was doing the Build-A-Bear shit.
Yeah.
And they
yeah.
enjoy that because it gives them a certain type of power till they get bored with it.
Bro,
But
like
until they find like a happy medium where they could keep this Build-A-Bear nigga, you know what I mean? They build them up so much, but he's still in a position where he needs her or he surpassed her, and then it's like a thing where she don't feel like she have any purpose.
And I also think it's something in them like, yo, if I could, it's almost like some proving in that. Like if I help build this Build-A-Bear's nigga up, and I could just I do this for him, I get his haircut, I buy him this, I get his food, I'm showing him, and one day he'll know that I'm really down for him. He'll know that I really love him.
But then that goes, excuse me, that goes to what we said about this, like the past relationships and how I put the pieces on the board for them. Because I think to a certain degree, all women obviously is not like that, right?
Yeah.
But there's some that are for some reason, you know, like they feel like that's the direction to go when they deal with men, and it's kind of weird.
Maybe some women, I think maybe it's maternal. I don't know with someone. Maybe it's
you know what I mean? Because it's like it kind of go against the hypergamous nature of women. You know what I mean? But maybe for those women, they might have had bad experiences with the high value quote unquote man and was done a certain type of way and got out of that. And this might give them, for older women, a better sense of security when it's the guy who need help versus her needing the guy.
I also think it can be about control as well, right? Because
absolutely, the
bum guy, right, is more control because he don't got nothing, and then you deal with the other guys like you sort of under his control because he got everything. So it's like
depending on what mood he in.
Yeah, so it's like I guess it just depends on. It really just depends on what type of woman that you have. If you have a very driven woman, then it ain't really, she not gonna be too concerned whether the guy make more money or this, or if she's driven. She's like, wow, this is what I want, this is what I'm standing for because I make my own bread. But if you have like a woman that in the back of her mind, she watched her mother be a stay-at-home wife, and she has the desire to be, you know, a wife or like a nurturer, then
Mm-hmm.
you know
Should
she might, yeah, she
that'll
might,
find her.
yeah, she
somehow.
that
Yeah.
that woman would be more inclined to at management at Target, and her husband works at Chick-fil-A, and they just thug it out and struggle. But she's a wife, and she's a, you know what I mean. She's not driven in that
Or
way.
she might be, the cards might play in her favor. She get a dude that can afford for her to stay home. And
Or
she get to
that,
be
and
that
she,
full-time
yeah, she, and
nurturer.
it's just like, you know, you just
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
no, but it's not, it's definitely not nothing wrong with it. It's like, as a man knowing what type of woman you want, and I guess as a woman knowing what type of man you
And
want.
they say to us, I think to a certain degree, every woman like that. Because if I could retire my wife right now, she driven like a motherfucker.
Now,
She be parked.
and that, not even to take us all the way around a whole different, but I ended up looking at some shit, and I think, don't quote me to this, but I think it was 1967 where like they started allowing women to have credit, and then shortly after, what's the word? Feminism hit, and
Yeah.
it's like all these things, and they saw the power of the woman's dollar and all of these things. So it's like, and I feel like women should have the rights that they have, but it's like I feel like
Absolutely.
this is a condition that was introduced, and some women chose to go that route. But I think, what's the word I'm looking for? By nature,
Mhm.
women, well, because I'll give you an example, like,
I know exactly what you're trying
like,
to say.
not to talk about, my household, but my folks, like, she a go-getter, and she's very strong and determined. And so I'll see that, right? And I'll see that side of her. But then sometime when shit get, real tough, she's still a woman.
Yeah.
And
At
then
the end of
it'll
the
be
day.
totally the opposite. And I had to remind her, like, yo, this is what, nobody is forcing you to do this. This is what you chose to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes she wants to be coddled, and she wants to be the stay. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So it's
Just
like,
because they got that go-getter nature, they don't take
Yes.
it away from their femininity.
yes,
Right.
yes, because by nature they steal that. And some women are putting these hats on and they wearing well. But by nature,
But they need it's right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that takes the right type of dude
'cause
to be there.
we'll get off into these things where a woman will complain about something that we'll look at it like, you think I can complain? You think if I come in here and tell you that, you're gonna be like, yo, you're a fucking man, bro.
Yeah, and we more solution fucking oriented anyway for the
Yeah.
most part, so we already solved the problem.
Yeah, but like I
But
said,
we
your wife may have a big problem with something that you've been figuring out for 10 years. Like, yo, that's what it
Mhm.
is to be a
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Right, type shit. Right, right.
But sidebar to that point, as a husband, with what you just said, because I've been in those situations before, you got to remember to not do what I just said.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. That's not the
Yeah,
right.
that's not.
You ain't reading the room
that is
correctly, bro. That's not
That is
yeah.
not the
That's the-
fucking
yeah.
response. No.
Yeah, because now she
no,
feel
no.
like you
Mm.
you're not creating a safe space for me.
Exactly. And back to bringing it full circle, back to what we was talking about, communication and stuff like that. Because all of that's important. Because these things, like when a man steps out or a woman steps out, because when people get married, I think they really mean it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They take these vows, they feeling good, for the most part, even
Yeah,
if
you-
she fuck somebody the day before at the
Yeah, she
what's
think
name?
once I do this, the problems will be up. So her intentions
Nah.
at that moment is like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll live this life all the way up until we get married, and then I'll figure it out after. And it's like, no, the
Something
problem's still gonna
happens.
be there.
Yeah,
bro.
but something happens where we get comfortable, right? And the key thing is to still date each other. And even if y'all still date each other, that don't necessarily means you're not going to have hiccups, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is though when we let it go on and on and on. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people don't say anything in these situations because it becomes like what we said before. You bring up something, then they bring up everything else, and it's like we start looping or
Yo.
whatever. And people, what they say, suffer in silence. And this could be
Yeah.
women, and this could be men. It could be men wanting sex or women wanting to communicate and not feeling loved. And whenever she says something, he yelling and screaming and slamming doors, and because he's the man and
Excuse me.
she needs him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? We gotta be in these relationships and stop it from getting from that, and try to always have the conversation beforehand. So when we do go back, when things do start to get out of hand, we have a reference point. And you grab her by the hands, you look in the eyes. Remember 5 years ago when we had this conversation, right? And we said if we ever get this place, we'll remember this conversation, no matter how mad we are with each other, right? I know you upset, you're dug in. I'm dug in. Let's go back. Let's remember who we was before we got to all this. And whatever it takes, we go back to get back to where we need to be. Let's go back there. But let's not stay here. Because ultimately, this is going to cause chaos, whether it's, getting a divorce, splitting the family up, splitting stuff up that y'all work together, which is good working together because now you got more, you know what I mean, versus, everything else it could
the
be.
economy, yo, you need that. Like, like the time that we in now, like unless I don't know, unless you got like some fucking superb career.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though? Like, I think that's important. Always having a reference point to go back to, a factory reset.
Yo, I got a man, shorty. We got it's a therapy book exactly like that. And in the beginning of the book, all throughout the book, it'll tell you. It's just I'll send it to you, but it's like what was the first thing you noticed about this person? When did you feel like you fell in love with this person? What there's 5 things that you like about this person? It's all of these things that make you revisit, and you sit and do the book.
Exactly.
It's like a book by actual therapist. But when you sit and do this, and y'all no TV on, and y'all sit and do this, and you'll revisit the things that
made you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? And one would say like it's no different than like tactical training, right? When it's just you shooting a gun at targets that's not shooting back, you come in there, you kick the door, and boom, you clear the room, boom.
Yeah.
But it's different in action when it's other people with guns shooting back.
100%.
So we not gonna always react. It sound good me talking about it, but in a situation where it's heated and it's live, it's a little different. But we gotta remember, like, yo, this is the person.
Yeah.
That we gotta see each other through those eyes.
What
again, you know what I'm saying?
What I like at any given time, bro. At any given time, no matter how tough your day going in a relationship, sometimes you gotta be willing to be selfless. You might have a shit ton of stuff on your back already, but you gotta be willing to go in the house and still be selfless. And another thing we work on is like, yo, before we haven't had to do this in a while, but before we go into a conversational argument, it's like, hold up, yo, I don't have the capacity right now. Like
my daughter say stuff like overstimulated.
I don't have it right now. Or even like, yo, you might call your wife to vent, and whoa, like, can we do this tomorrow? Cause I don't have.
Yo, and that's to the whole how you feeling today. You got 120, 80%, whatever. And
exactly that. Yeah.
But it's just training yourself to remember to do that. And it's good practice. It don't matter if you're married or just in a relationship that you've been in the long term. Like, these things work.
I think, well, I can't speak for you, but I think as men, we more conditioned, because something always be wrong with our woman, right? So I think we more conditioned to do that. Baby, you all right? But I don't think women I don't think women like pay a lot of attention to that, because we men and the way we carry ourselves. So it's like, when the last time you checked in on your guy, man? When the last time you asked me how I was doing, or how my day was, or is my do I got a headache, or have I ate? You know what I mean?
They don't care about us.
Yeah, bro. They see you moving all the weight in the gym and the way you carry yourself, and he all right. And it's just like, nah, when the last time you really checked on me? But in fact, for the last year, you've been reminding me of what I haven't been doing right and how you feel, but you have not checked on me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. You got a boyfriend?
What do you think that is?
Oh, you her boyfriend?
There's no way you ain't see me standing here, gang.
I did. I just didn't think that.
Nah, I'm here with her.
Oh, that's you? Type shit. Here you go, brother. Just wipe them off. Well, you said, what is it?
Yeah.
See, I knew he needed them. They glasses. So, like, what you wearing when you can't see. So I just assumed you was blind. So just wipe them off, put them on, you good to go, brother.
Just walk.
You said what?
You see her? I think I can see her pretty well.
I can't really see that well. You get 360 real quick.
You might need the glasses. If you fucking 360, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Who the fuck you talking to?
Do a 360 actually.
I think I'm gonna just go.
Who are you talking to?
Oh,
Get the fuck out of here.
I think.
If you did a
Sean, you can go back
I ain't gonna lie.
to the fucking right now.
Oh,
go back to I wonder anyways. She's searching for your suitcase. Right. What
hey,
you about to say?
what she?
Yo, that's crazy because, like, you see how he said to his girl, you do a 360, I'm gonna beat the fuck out you. Instead of him being upset and taking that energy out on yo directed that energy to his girl. That's crazy.
Yo, I be hard pressed now to to really figure out what's real and what's fake now. Because if it is real, um, then old boy a sucker. Right? 'Cause,
Yeah, that part.
you know what I mean? The first thing he should have said is like, yo, just keep it moving, yo. You see me with my lady.
Right.
Just go ahead. Like I'm not even interested in playing that type of game.
Yeah.
You might catch me if I'm with my homeboys, or even if I'm by myself. You might catch me to participate, right? I might be more willing, but I'm not. I'm not interested in playing like that with my family or my lady at all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You think that
So
your sort felt as though like yo was weak? You feel what I'm saying? Like I ain't even
yeah,
get the reference with the glasses and all that.
yeah. Like I think what it really irritate me is not that I'm not saying that like I look like I'm a certain type of person or that I look tough. I don't carry myself that way. But I'm a man, bro. Like, don't even like. Do I look like I should be played with? Like, do I look skit worthy? So that would have been a thing for me. But I don't know what be on these guys' mind. But a lot of times I be thinking, right, that shit look kind of real,
I
right?
think
Because
this one
her,
real.
yeah, because of her response.
And his energy, like he look
Yeah,
afraid.
like yeah, like
Yeah,
you
he
know what
look
I mean.
afraid. And if you peep it, like he like yo, ain't no way you. He had to say something. Yo, really angry for real, but he one of those dudes who lash out on his chick versus what's in front of him. But I think the broader topic is pranking in general. You know what I'm saying? And just people walking up on people with their camera in this day and age, just on the strength of making content. You know what I'm saying? I seen one similar to this. Young dudes ran up on a dude playing with him, and he was about to get with him, trying to do the same old thing, hollering at somebody girl. Granted, like you said, a lot of this stuff be staged because you see the behind the scenes, you see the people. Hey, um, those cakes look good. And she like, what? And then turn around the dude holding the cake. You know what I mean? The shit funny, but at the same time, we like copy and paste out here. People start mimicking what other people do, and it's really dangerous. Cause like you said,
100%,
if somebody come play with you thinking it's a game,
100%.
it's not gonna be it's not gonna end the way they thought it was gonna end.
But see, yo, the thing about it, that's a good point, right? But the thing about it is, no matter how it ends, it's good for them. With the exception of them getting the shit beat out of them or getting like hurt real bad, it is good for them. Like whatever, however it turn, if you pop off or if you chase the guy or it's a good skit, it's still any way it go, it's still a chance that that video might take off for that person, and that's what make the shit like you know what I mean, like real weird because it's
Yeah.
like yo, like any outcome with the exception of me really getting hurt can be a good outcome.
It's funny you said something about getting hurt. Well, I just recently seen a young girl, Lex. So she's a chick. She walk up to other women and start getting slick with them. I asked them something and get slick with them. Recently, she did a video. Of course, it went viral, but she tried somebody and the girl put hands on her. She was like, "No, it's a video. It's a video. It's a video."
I think
She
I
always
seen
say it's a
that.
video. It's a video, and people typically calm down, right?
I think I
But that's
seen that.
after she get them all riled up, and shorty bust her lip. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the other dude who like go in the hood. Those ones look kind of staged because they all look the same, right? But the problem with all of that is that because again we a copy and paste society. Like when do we dial this back? I guess it is more entertaining when it is real versus the stage stuff because you can see it. But like when do we just dial this back? Like what is going to take for somebody to get hurt really bad, you know what I mean, for us to just say, you know what, we not even going to tune into this type of humor.
I don't think that happens because most of the guys or a good percentage of the guys that do these videos come from environments where dangerous shit already happening. So it's like I can deal with the danger of like being on a corner and being in the street, or I could
Right.
possibly deal with the danger of somebody, cussing me out because they don't want to be in a video. So out of those two um scenarios, like you like, well, yo, I do this shit every day
Mm-hmm.
before I, sell some drugs on my block. This is, and for some people, I guess they look at it as a way out. I mean, we got a whole like generation of young people that don't want to be, they don't want to, be plumbers, or they don't want to be carpenters, or they, you know what I'm saying? Like they want to be content creators. So it's just like it's the time that it's just the time that we in, man. I don't never really knock nobody hustle, right? If you see a way to, change your life financially by, doing silly videos, then by
Yeah,
all
more
means,
power to
yeah,
you.
yeah, like have at it.
Especially if
But
you're not hurting anybody.
yeah, so it's like I guess I'm conflicted. Like I like it. It is an honest living, but some of the shit that they do is like it's silly. I think what I'll add is like, yo, like Will Smith was on a thing and he basically was like, that shit really resonated with me because he was like, yo, everybody having a hard time. And you look at this guy, he got all the money in the world, and you know what I'm saying? He telling you that he recognizes, even from his
Yeah.
state, right? Like he recognizes that most people are having a hard time, right? So if you realize that most people are having a hard time, why would you want to go up and play with someone? Like you never know what a person be like this
Yeah.
close to losing it, and you running up with him with your phone playing dumbass games. So, you know,
You brought out something, right? When you said like everybody don't want to be a plumber or everybody don't want to be, a clerk or something like that, right? And still within the realm of content creation is a show on YouTube. I came across him on TikTok. It's like Uncle Neff in a sense, right? Not the two dudes that do the funny stuff, but it's a younger guy. He like 17 and his uncle work at McDonald's, right? And the nephew be going off like from the angle of I ain't asked to be here. Y'all fucked it up for us too, as though we gotta work and this, that, and the third. Moving the conversation a little bit to a different direction. Like that's the new thing now, where these young people feel like, yo, fuck all of this. And one avenue is content creation, but they don't want to go to work and stand up and go up and down ladders for 10 to 8 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? And with content creation, there's not no guarantee.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You could get all the bells and whistles and you still won't catch the algorithm. It could take you years. And what's going to fund that while you try to, go viral a few times to get your name out there to do stuff? It's like, is it the only way for them to avoid having to go to work up and down ladders for 8 hours is do the extreme content?
I think, yo, like part of me, like, I've seen people have success, right? Where it's just like, yo, this all I know how to do. And if I don't do this, it just ain't gonna be nothing. And that shit work.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like, yo, if you into something and you faking, I guess only you and God or the universe know your heart and know that you faking. I feel like for those people, it'll never really work. Like you may have seen somebody that's like, yo, all I know how to do is this.
Yeah.
And that shit take off for them. And you see somebody else, like I said, they might be bullshitting, and it's like, yo, if you're not 100% broke, go ahead and get a job. Go do something. But the kids they don't want to hear that. Like they don't want to. I don't know if it's just pure laziness. I don't really know what it is. Whereas though, we just in this time where you like youngins feel like they can just cut the line and I can just And it's like, yo, sometimes this, yo, like sometimes you got to do the shit that you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's every
they
fucking
get
day.
where, like, you know what I'm saying? They get where you wanna go, and I feel like, you can't like skip that process, and I think that's what you say a lot of, and even some of the people creating content that we think are successful, they think they ain't really getting no money like that.
Yeah,
they just I guess happy with the fact that they don't gotta go to work for somebody.
It's enough to pay their bills.
Yeah, just enough, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm never against somebody making their own way, but it's like if the end result is for you to have some money and be successful, there's more ways to do that.
Because like now, like even when it comes to content creation in the younger generation, not necessarily wanting to work in just to get their name out there, they gotta do something extreme to get everybody attention, right? You got podcasts with celebrities just popping up out of nowhere. Recently, we got Fat Joe and Jada Kiss. So, and automatically they had like 100 and something subscribers, right? And they're in the algorithm. I didn't ask for them. You know what I mean? But it's just like the way it works is it's not even it's not even in their favor. Just getting started, making content. They could be having the same conversation, and guess who won't pop up in my algorithm? Them. And even if they having a conversation better, you know what I mean. So even in that is rigged against them, rigged against us rather. So
100%. I mean that like I ended up saying something a while ago, and it's like, yo, in the infancy of like social media, regular content creators made so much money, and these platforms saw that, and it's like, yo, hold up, bro. Like,
hmm
how do we get in here, and how do we figure this shit out? Whereas though they're more relying on us for their shit to pop off, and I think that for like Joey and Jada, like where they coming in at, first of all, they got a machine behind them.
exactly.
So it's like where they're not taking them away from them, right? Because them guys are, I like both of them, right?
Yeah,
But
me too.
like they're coming in. It's almost like their numbers aren't even. It's not even homegrown, bro. It's like, yo, you was already successful over here.
Yeah.
We put you here. People automatically. So it's like,
You hit it on the head. It's
The-
not
the-
homegrown. They brought
yeah,
the audience with them.
their overhead. So if it's just me and you, and then in 2 days we do 1 million views, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like they got a shit ton of overhead. They got salaries. They got probably a team behind the camera. So you look at those beginning numbers, they just for bragging rights. But you ain't really making no fucking money off of all of the setup that y'all gotta. I ain't really making no money. In
Right.
fact, when I looked at it, the first thing I saw them say was shit for T-Mobile. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that's the play right there. That's where they're gonna get the money
Mhm.
from in the beginning is
Mhm.
sponsorships. But I still, I
They
don't.
come in the door with the sponsors. They ain't even
Yeah,
earn it.
yeah.
mean-
So
Earn it not in the sense of that they not worthy of it, but like think about somebody coming from the ground up, like what we doing, and then we get the sponsorship.
I don't even think-
the
yeah.
recognition. They came in with that.
I don't even think. I think that it'll probably be a while before they even in the green. Like I don't like I feel like I look at that like I said, that shit kind of dope, bro. Like not like necessarily like, for instance, like Cam and them, they came from ground zero, put their money up. I feel like within a few months they was already in the green. They ain't
Mhm.
come with no Rock
Yeah.
Nation behind them or nothing. Like they came, and I think Cam said he put up 250. I think Mace probably put up 250. They put up their own money,
Mhm.
and I feel like the minute they got some traction, then I think what's Underdog or whatever their sponsor is, feel like they came in the beginning, gave them that bag. So
Mhm.
probably within a year they was in the green, bro.
Yeah, and they got the like they are friends in real life, so it's real organic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like they got that good relationship. So
Yeah.
definitely. So that's what they're up against. Like, and it's like to your point, like the extreme content is never going to stop because you got to be able to stand. You got to be louder than the noise. If that make any sense.
Yeah, I think though where it's going at now is, I feel like, YouTube and I feel like the next thing is going into. I mean, we all see it. I feel like the next wave is streaming, and it's still like, how, people was holding on to Facebook like, I ain't really fucking with Instagram. Yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
yada. I feel like that's the wave where people still looking at streamers like, I don't really, but I feel like that's the next like progression that we going
You
into.
want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, why not? That's why I'm here, right?
We did mama about like a year or two ago. We was talking about Castanet. I think I said his name right.
Yeah. When the little jail shit that we thought we
Yeah.
both agreed on
Yeah.
was kind of silly, but I guess
It was offensive to us because we
Yeah.
been there.
yeah.
For them, it was like we just doing a skit. But we understand, we old enough to know that, when we popularize certain stuff, we think it's cool it's like, and with the times being what they are, it was offensive to us in a sense because we don't want the young kids to think it's okay
Exactly.
and cool to go there. Not necessarily against-
Exactly. But it's like, again, like, yo, I'm even conflicted with that, right? Because it's like, on one hand, it's like, bro, like, shit trash, bro. Like, y'all just running around just doing silly shit, right?
Yeah.
And some of the shit really is trash. Some shit be funny, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? But at the same time, it's a fucking young black man making a shit ton of money, changing his family life.
Yeah.
And
Changing other people's lives.
yeah, and we both come from environments where dudes be outside acting silly, not getting a red cent for it. So I look at it, I'm like,
Going to
all
jail
right,
for
like
free.
I don't really, yeah, like I know a bunch of silly niggas that don't get paid. They just silly for no reason. So at least it's like, bro, like, yeah, I'm gonna get on this camera, act silly. I make a shit ton of money. So
I still feel the way. I still feel the same way about it. Only thing that I feel different is that I think that he grew since then.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Not just an audience.
You
and
got like a
followers and
bigger
money.
contract since that. Like how
Yeah,
100%.
but I'm just talking about. It seemed like he grew as a person. He's a young man, so like he wasn't looking at it through the lens that I was originally looking at it.
Yeah,
in.
I mean, he's still early 20s, so it's like
That's what I'm
even with,
saying.
not to cut you off, even what you saying, like you gotta allow young people to go through that developmental stage and also developing under those circumstances, making a shit ton of money.
And then now look where he at, and look at the success. Look at the Screamers University.
Yeah.
And it's dope, and he's pulling all kinds of different people
Yeah.
in and giving them a chance when they wouldn't. And you know, I follow the stuff on
Plus,
TikTok. The guys who got one person following or 3 people watching, they show up and have people come in on they streams and stuff like that.
Plus-
and update numbers. That's dope.
yo, plus, and I spoke to you about this before, like, you know, we still feel like, I mean, it's as long as we're on this planet, it's our time, right? Like, you still breathing, it's technically your time.
It's over for us.
No, but I mean, you get
know
the
what I
gist of what
mean,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, yeah. But
their
it's
time
like,
now.
I can't say that's not my time because I'm 47. God woke me up this morning, so it's still technically my time. But
Mhm.
our views on certain things is not what moves the needle anymore. And I would even argue like consumption is different of what we consume in our mid to late 40s versus what a person 15 to 25 consumes. And I feel like that younger person dollar margin is probably a lot bigger.
Mhm.
So technically speaking, they're moving the needle. So I also feel like we look at shit, jaded, like, yo, this what we on now? Because when we was young, we was on this. This what we, and we don't really like that. But it's like, yo, you had your time, bro. We
sound
had ours.
Do we sound like the old people?
Sometime, and I really try to like stay
Yo.
away from that because
Yeah.
like God blessing me with he's still blessing me with youth.
Yeah.
So it's not like I should even be speaking from a point of an old person back all stiff, like, but nowadays, no, I still move around. I still, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. Like,